views and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you ready?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome to After Hours AM, everybody. A super, super spooky After Hours AM. Well, your host, Joel Sturgis, are right along with me.
Steve Asher, how you doing, guys?
Hey, man, they are doing great. Do you like the gravelly voice?
That's what it's about.
That's what it's all about. No, I have allergies. I have horrible allergies, and even though I am on the Allegra D 24-hour pill, I still get the gravelly voice.
You heard it, folks. Joe is on the D.
I am on the D. But, you know, it is fall allergy season, so I do apologize for my gravelly voice. Because I do know it drives the ladies wild. I get all that. I get that. So, you know.
Hurts.
So just try to, just chill. It's all good. It's all good. Enjoy my gravel. But, yay, man, tonight is our Halloween special. Because, as you know, Monday is the big day, man. You got big plans for the Halloween?
Dude, I wait all year for this. Yeah,
all
man, are you
year?
Serious? I'm definitely going to be doing the family thing. I don't know if...
Yeah,
trick-or-treating? Get a little bit older. Yeah, I don't know. It's borderline. They're kind of... the youngest ones might. If they want it, man, I'll do it. I'm all for it.
Do you actually trick-or-treat? Do you bring a bag and for yourself and throw it out there and... Go, hey, trick or treat. Come on, give it to me. I'm Steve Asher.
You wait till you get home, and then you take part of the candy.
Now, in your community, being so small, do people recognize you in the street as the guy that wrote the book about the ghosts in the prison?
I get that some.
Sure.
But it's one of those things. I kind of have the look of, is that the writer? Is that the guy that's coming to pick up my couch?
Have you had, when you made it, when you get to sign cleavage?
Okay, I've not arrived yet.
Okay.
Maybe Cheyenne, my sainted wife Cheyenne, will let me sign her cleavage here.
I've heard that from a rock star. He says, I knew I made it when I was signing cleavage. And I said, really, Nikki Sixx? Tell me more. That's right. And I'm like, wow, really? That's how you knew you actually made it, was signing cleavage? Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
I had the chance to sign cleavage. Let me rephrase that. I had the chance to sign cleavage, but it was in prison, so it wasn't.
Was it the male cleavage?
It's the worst kind.
Oh, that is the worst kind. There's nothing worse than
the felt tip pin, because it kind of sticks in the chest hair. It's a drag.
It really is. I'd request a shave first. I would say, hey, you might want to go shave that up first. That way I can give you a good signature, and, I really would hate to get all, messed up because of your chest hair. Thank you very much. Thank you for playing.
Oh, my God.
Just go to the manscaping thing. Do you manscape? Do you ever, do you manscape? Do you, take the chest hair and wax it off like you've seen on TV?
Wax on what? Man, if I try to do that,
I get the questions from. I love that. You never know what I'm going to ask you. You just never know.
This is true.
You just don't know. I might just show up and go, so Steve, I hear. No, I'm kidding, of course. But no, I do not manscape. I guess I shave. occasionally, when I'm told to.
I'm not going to ask where. I'll just leave that. I'll leave that alone.
Well, no, my face. I shaved the base. Because
the baby face.
The baby face. Because she'll come up and she'll say, "You're looking a little rough." And I'll turn around in my gravelly voice and go, "That's what I'm aiming for, baby."
Usually my wife will say, "Are you going out like that, or do you want like a sign that says I'll work for food?" Okay.
Or better yet, help me, I'm an author.
I laughed too hard at that because that's true.
Hey, man, it is our Halloween special, and we got a great guest tonight. Who do we got on tap, man? You set this all up bottom to top, so why don't you go ahead, tell the audience who we got coming on.
Miss Penny Dreadful.
And she is, she's cute, though. She really is. She's adorable.
She's super chill, and that's the thing is, we've talked a little bit before. I grew up, through that, like through Nashville, horror hosts like The Count of Five and Sir Cecil the Creep, and later on guys like Dr. Gangrene. All those guys are cool, and then through them, I'm trying to remember the name of the documentary, and I had saw where they were talking about people up north, up in her area, and she did a whole section and was real quick and back and forth, and the banter was really, really cool, and it was just like, oh, this chick's cool. We got to get her on the show.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I mean, really, of course, everybody knows Elvira. She was the, and then, of course, there are a lot of other horror hosts out there that that I've been looking up, and they are cool, and she is the coolest, though Penny definitely is. But it's really cool because it's still alive and well, the horror host thing, because it's such Americana. And because I remember when I was a kid, it'd be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'd still be up watching scary movies, and of course, you always had the horror host, and I miss that. that extra little bit you got.
That's the thing, because like when all the stations kind of went under one big umbrella of X amount of companies and stuff, it seemed like a lot of that kind of local flavor faded.
Yeah, it did.
Weeded out a fair amount, and a few that really broke through, like you said, like Elvira and people like that. They were kind of like, oh, well, horror host, it's this one, it's that one. And that's the thing. I love the fact that, like you said, they are carrying on that tradition. Another big one, which I'm actually sporting my Shinguli T-shirt.
Shinguli,
Chicago's own Shinguli, and. So, which I don't have a Penny Dreadful shirt. Hope maybe I can get a.
Well, who knows? Maybe we get some swag sometime. To kind of sport that out a little bit. Penny Dreadful, and
yes,
and quite honestly, like I was saying, it's a big piece of Americana because there's been so many iconic horror hosts. And of course, through the 90s, you had Joe Bob Briggs with his trailer house or movie trailer thing, and Rhonda Shear, Up All Night, which was not really a quintessential horror host. That was more of a host that got away from the fun shtick of, the macabre.
More of a hostess that had connection to that.
It wasn't really, it really kind of faded in the background. And so I was happy, like I said, to see that there are still people doing this, and there's quite a few. In fact, there's several websites dedicated to people that are still doing this, of course, and we'll give all those links, of course, out there, and where you can check out Penny when she's on. But man, we got to get to some business here. Now, I was kicking around the internet, like I say, each and every week because I was getting ready for the show, and I came across from About Entertainment the 16 signs that you live in a haunted house. I know, right? Well, okay. Most everybody's had something strange happen in their house, I'm sure. If you're asking enough people, at one time or another, maybe one isolated occurrence or whatever, something that you kind of think, well, that was strange. You never give a second thought because it never happens again. But these are symptoms that you actually live in an actively haunted home. You following? You digging? You digging? You smelling while I'm cooking? Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. Right in your wheelhouse. Unexplained noises is the first symptom. Footsteps, knocking, banging, rapping, scratching sounds. That sounds like a song. Footsteps, knocking, hand bangings, and rapping sounds But if you
I can
have
do
that, I know, right? I should really get a guitar. I do play the guitar,
Sample that.
so I should have done that. I know. I should. You know what? We should get a song together, just of those words. But if you have footsteps, knocking, banging, rapping, scratching sounds of something that is like in your attic, or you just can't behind the wall, you just can't quite track it down. That could be a symptom that yes, you do live in a haunted house. Mm-hmm. The next one on the list is doors, cabinets, cupboards, opening and closing on their own, of course. Most often, this phenomena is not seen directly, rather, and the experiencer neither hears or sees it happening, but then they will discover it once they come back in the room. And they're like, well, what the hell, man? I mean, you know, I knew I closed all that. Now, this next one would be extremely helpful in my home because I got to say, my lights are on quite a bit, a little more than I'd like to see. Lights turning off and on by themselves.
Right.
All by themselves. Now, I don't mind if a ghost wants to come along and hit the lights. That'd be great. You know, save me a few bucks.
Yeah, get the kindly granddad.
Well, sure, though, the penny pincher. Where's Scrooge ghost? You need him. You know, where's that ghost going? You know, that's going to cost you.
Well, he's probably living in Miami or definitely Florida.
Yes, God's waiting room. Oh,
Yes.
definitely. Okay, next symptom on the list, if you do live in a haunted home, is items disappearing and reappearing.
You know, that also ties in with the okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. What is it?
1, 2, 3. What? What are you talking about?
Okay, we talk. It's hauntings.
Yeah.
But it's also connected with what?
What things? People stealing crap and then pulling pranks.
Let's see the screen. Poltergeist activity.
Oh, exactly. Yes, you're right. I was trying to play dumb. Yeah. Actually, I don't have to try because anyhow. Yes, sometimes a poltergeist activity is connected with this phenomena, also known as the borrower's phenomena. Mm-hmm. So if you have stuff like your keys or money or what have you disappearing and then reappearing in a totally obvious place where you know you looked, you just might be living in a haunted house. Mm-hmm.
Well, it could be.
Unexplained shadows.
Seen that. Yeah, I've seen those before myself.
Really? Do tell.
Sure. When the house we lived in, probably from the time I was about 2.5 till I was older and moved out on my own and all that stuff. Had an older home, little 2-story house. It was maybe one owner, maybe 2 owners, but as far as I understand, no one ever passed away and anything like that. But we would get shadows like, you would think, okay, a shadow would be like walking across a doorway.
Sure.
We would get like the corners of your room, like moving not across the bottom, but like up the wall, like up that corner, and then run along the baseboard. But it's not like it wasn't like a mouse; it was like a defined shadow. That would happen time to time. You know, like I said, I mean, you get to the point where you go on and it sort of becomes normal. But that happened a fair amount in that house when I was a kid, and I didn't realize that I wasn't the only one that had seen that until I spoke with my brothers and sisters later on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was super off.
Oh, man. You know, I've heard that phenomena. People talking about the shadows. You're not the first one. But generally, the Hat Man is the most common one that is told about.
Oh, yeah.
The Hat Man, I saw this, I saw that. I want to say Heidi Hollis has done quite a bit of work on the shadow person phenomena.
If I'm not mistaken, she's kind of the one, I don't know if she necessarily coined the word, but as of the definitive works on it, I would go to her. Like, if you ever wanted to do a show on, Hat Man, she's the one.
I've heard that, and I've heard that term kicked around, shadow people, the Hat Man. But, I mean, I shouldn't say never, I have seen glimpses of the corner of my eye, but it wasn't a shadow person. It was like a shadow rat. Seriously.
I was going to ask you,
like a little rodent.
Animal.
Yeah, like a little rodent running across the baseboard. I'll never forget this because I saw it like 4 or 5 different times. I was living recently in the house before the one I'm in now, and I never told anyone about it because I didn't want to freak anyone out. But I
Right.
watched this happen a few different occasions. I'd be up, late at night or whatever, and couldn't sleep, and you'd have the lights on, and next thing you know, you'd catch something out of the corner of your eye. So I'd wait, and I'd see it again, and I looked directly at it, and oh my God, it wasn't a mouse at all or anything. It was a shadow of a critter.
Cripes.
It scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, what did you do? I mean, did you
I tried to set traps. I couldn't find any shadow traps.
shadow trap?
Now, I was trying like heck. I got a spotlight out and put a shadow of the mouse trap on it. It didn't work.
I have this vision of you like calling Acme.
I did. I did.
The shadow.
I did. I called him Acme and I said, "Is this the Wile E. Coyote?" And of course, he just held up a sign saying yes. And I said, "I can't hear that. It's a phone." And I said, "Do you happen to have any traps for shadow rodents?" And of course, I got nowhere with that. So I grabbed the old Victor trap, put it out there, shined the light behind it, hoping it hit the wall, and maybe it'd actually work. Maybe it'd trigger the trap. It didn't work.
Huh.
As crazy as that sounds.
So it went over the device, or did it like circumvent? Did it like go around?
It just went through it. It just went through it. I was messing around, just trying to be funny, trying to figure out what was going on, and I saw this multiple occasions. I wish I was joking because actually I got it's kind of scary. It was really kind of scary at the time because I'm the only one there, and I'm watching this little critter run along the baseboard in this old house. And of course, there's a cat laying not 10 feet away from me that doesn't care at all. Could care less.
Just oblivious to it.
Just you know what? Yes, exactly. You know what? I have 2 cats, but yet I have mice in my house somehow. I don't know how that's possible. That's a whole nother story. But here I am watching this little critter, and then one time, or more than once, I have seen the full body shadow walking along. And you kind of see them in the most inopportune moments.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's not good.
No, like one time I was in the bathroom.
I was going to ask.
And that's the worst time to have a haunting.
Okay, well, that or in love time. It's special moment.
I take it you've seen a shadow during a special moment. You're you're getting jiggy with it, and then you see the shadow staring at you. No, thank you.
Okay, well, maybe it's like, honey, don't freak out. There's a shadow in the corner, and she'll be like, "It's okay, let him watch."
Let him watch.
Honey, that kind of turns me on a little bit.
Next on Red Shoe Hauntings.
Exactly. Next on Red Shoe Hauntings, only on Skinamax. No, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they were getting busy, and hauntings have happened.
I could not maintain. I don't know what I would do if I saw that.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know. Thank God I haven't found myself in that predicament. Okay, moving along. Strange animal behaviors. Oh, my Lord. If you own a cat, they're already strange.
Oh, they're out of their mind.
They are. They're neurotic as all hell. So, quite honestly, strange animal behaviors, I have a hard time buying. Because my animals are weird anyway.
Well, what do you mean by strange? Is like you come in from whatever, checking something out back, starting the car, warming it up, you come in there, they're frying you eggs, and so how you want them?
Yeah.
I mean,
how would you like your eggs tonight? Hello, Mr. Asher. I'm making scrambled eggs and ham. Would you like, or would you rather have hot dogs?
Yes. Probably have some delicious shadow rats.
Exactly. We caught them on the baseboard. We're good to go. Okay, next symptom is the feelings of being watched. You ever get that uncomfortable feeling or just sitting there and you feel like someone's staring at you?
I have, and I actually had read up some paperwork and just researching and stuff about that whole feeling of being watched. And it seems that generally that if you feel you're being watched, you probably are being watched.
Generally, I would say, I would definitely say if you feel that there's 2 eyes on you or more, chances are there are.
Right. I mean, unless you're sitting in a wardroom with a tinfoil hat on or something. I mean, you could go too far with it. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. But if you're just an average, Joe Sixpack or whatever.
Joe Sixpack. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Hey, he might be a shadow now.
He just might be.
But
shadow.
I do think so. I mean, I think that there's some truth to that, and I don't know if it's necessarily a haunting thing, or if it's maybe that individual is just a little bit more in tune with stuff like that. I don't know.
Could be. Very well could be. I mean, it's I've had that same feeling, though, where I've been feeling like I've been watched, and you just kind of go about your day, the best you can.
Right. Well, what can you do? I mean,
things
you have to keep on keeping on,
And again, it always happens in the most inopportune moments. Always. It's like there's a rule in the afterlife. You will hunt when they're not expecting it.
That's right.
This is how this will work.
As messed up as that situation is, there is even stronger evidence, isn't there?
Well, yeah. Mild psychokinetic phenomena. Hearing a door open or close is one thing. Actually seeing it happen is quite another.
That's right.
Similar activity, seeing a light go on or off by itself, is greater proof that something unexplained is happening. Do you see the TV or radio turn on or off, perhaps? You could be in the presence of a ghost. I don't know. I've never had that happen in my house. I've never been sitting there, unless, I sat on the remote, then it would happen. But I've never had anything like that happen to me, thank God. I don't know how to do it. Probably freak out and scream.
We've had, like in the house we had before, it was a Victorian turn of the century type of house, and the kids coming from school and maybe didn't close the door all the way, where
sure.
it latches quite
well,
right.
Yeah, drafts and
pop open, the air blows in.
Yep,
things like that.
Yep. I totally getting where I know what you're talking about, man. It is, it just happens as older homes, but when you're seeing an opening and closing on its own accord, and there's no apparent reason.
Oh, especially if the knob goes.
Oh, yeah. Especially those old places where they have the keyhole lock where you can look in it. Oh, I got those in my house. Do you got those?
Oh, with the old timey skeleton key
Oh,
locks?
yeah.
Oh, I did. Now we're in good shape. It's like a newer house. But, yeah, we had that where it had like the same key open like every door.
Oh, sure. But those are creepy because I remember the old stories of don't look in the keyhole. Remember those stories?
Yes.
If you look in the keyhole, you'll see a ghost. And I've tried it, and nothing ever happened. I was feeling tough. Feeling like tempted fate.
What are you, a tough guy?
I'm a tough guy over here with a gravelly voice. And nothing ever happened. Okay, moving on. Feelings of being touched. Now, I'm married, so that doesn't happen very often.
Oh,
the feeling of being watched is one thing, and actually, I'm joking. And
of being self-touched? Or is that...
yeah, self-serve station, please. The feeling of being watched is one thing, and actually feeling like you're being touched is quite another. Sure. Some people feel something brush past them, something touching their hair or a hand, their hand or shoulder. Some feel a gentle poke or just a nudge. I don't. Have you ever been pushed or anything on an investigation? I have.
I mean, like as of something hardcore violent, like you get thrown through a room or something. No, definitely have had kind of almost like a shoulder check or almost like a 2-finger kind of nudge on your shoulder behind you, kind of like say, "Hey, buddy," that kind of thing. Sure,
yeah. You're in my zone.
Right. Yeah, it's just almost like they're marking their territory.
Yeah.
Definitely have had the stuff where you have that kind of cobweb.
Sure,
feel.
I've had that feeling, and being a bald guy, you really feel it.
Oh, you feel everything. You feel the rain before everybody else does.
Yes.
Literally.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Bald is beautiful. Bald is beautiful. Come on.
Always.
Don't let anyone else tell you different.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
Substitutes.
That's right. The very last symptom that your home may be haunted, cries and whispers. On occasion, muffled voices whispering and crying can be heard sometimes. It's music from some unknown source, which people have reported. People hear their names being said. This phenomena as true for it's basically what it's saying is it really scares the hell out of people.
Oh yeah, it's
you know what I mean, and I don't know of anybody that could hear that and be like, "Oh, that's totally cool."
I don't have any problem
I like that. I really like that. I like how my name called.
More of that. Can it be more right here in my face?
Exactly. But that freak.
I will tell you one story.
Sure.
Fast. Okay. I live in Princeton, Kentucky. My dad, when him and my mom split, moved to the town next to us, just up the street, Dawson Springs, Kentucky. Anyway.
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson Springs. Get it right. So anyway, he was staying in like kind of a older house that was sort of made a duplex where it had like a main hall. You have rooms on the side, almost in a horseshoe pattern, separate kitchen, separate this and that. So anyway, he was staying there, and usually I would be over there after school, and usually I was out, And anyway, it was I ended up staying with him on a weekend. Well, I would always stay up and listen to radio,
Sure.
like AM radio, when they still had it more prevalent, and I listened to all these different shows. Anyway, I stayed up really late the night before, and so I didn't wake up till early. Anyway, the next night, Dad's hitting the bed, and I'm sitting there going, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit here. And so I'm trying to fall asleep, and you start hearing the sounds of almost like a clunk, tink, tink, tunk, clink, clink, almost like plate, spoon, fork, spade, like someone sitting at a table.
Uh-huh.
And after that, you start hearing like chairs slipping out, and I'm going, well, maybe the people next door are doing something. These are like 80 or 90-year-old people. They're way asleep. But I'm going, yeah, that's what it is. Sure. So I'm sitting there, and I kept hearing this to the point to where you're hearing people talking and like a little bit of music, like almost kind of 30s, 40s style music.
All right. Well, let me run down these quick. There's still a few more here.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Cold or hot spots, you feel that. Unexplained smells when it's not chilly night. Moving or levitating objects, severe psychokinetic phenomena. Meaning your dinner plates you were just talking about. Sliding across the table, pictures flying off the wall, doors slamming, shutting with great force, furniture sliding. Generally the normal, household stuff that happens at the Asher estate. Physical assault, scratching, slapping, hard shoves. The kind of personal assault is extremely rare and obviously highly disturbing. Right. And then other physical evidence, unexplained writing on paper or walls, handprints, and footprints. But the granddaddy of them all, to prove that your home is absolutely, without a doubt, haunted, apparitions.
That's a hard sell if you're not a believer, man. That's just like, okay,
right.
What do I do with that?
That is exactly apparitions, physical manifestations of the spiritual entity. These phenomena are also very rare and can take many forms. Human-shaped mists or forming mists of some indistinguishable shape. Transparent human forms that disappear quickly, and most rarely human forms that look as real and as solid as a living person, but they disappear into a room and never to be seen again. Wow. Now, have you ever seen a full-body apparition?
Are you mean on hunts or in that house?
Period. Anywhere, anytime, full body. Like there it is. Like hey,
hit the toe. Like it's just like, hey, how you doing, buddy? And they walk down the street.
Exactly.
Oh man, I've heard very, very audible people, and going down a walk, and I look and there's no one in the cell. But as of just straight up walking up on you, no, I've seen partial, like from the shoulders down to about the wrist, and the hands aren't there. Or maybe they have and this is very, very, very loose and foamy, kind of foggy looking.
Sure.
Outline of a head, but not really any distinguishable features. But that's very rare.
I have.
Really?
Yep, I saw a guy in full work attire. In fact, I thought I was in this old hockey rink. It was actually a place where the very first NHL game, if I could talk, was ever played. And it's up here in northern Minnesota, the birthplace of the modern NHL, by the way. And I was walking in the rink area, and I looked past down where their tool crib was. There's a guy staring at me wearing 1920s garb, work boots, hat, the whole bit. And he looked as shocked to see me as I was to see him. And believe me, I didn't stick around too long. I'm like, oh, my God. And he was
trying to fed you down going, hey, buddy, you got any beer?
Well, I was going to try and make contact, but then I don't care how tough you are in that moment. You kind of go, whoa, your adrenaline kicks in, and then you blink and he's gone. I blinked and he was literally blinked and he was gone. Right. That fast.
It's not of this world. It's not. That's a purely bright reaction.
Yeah. It was really, really cool, really, really scary all at the same time. But man, I'll never forget it because he was as shocked. Obviously, it's dimensional because he was as shocked to see me as I was to see him. So we were running into each other, and there was a wavelength that was crossing there. Yeah, and we were both shocked to see each other. But we got to run a break. We come back. We got the beautiful and talented Miss Penny Dreadful joining us. Don't go anywhere. Be right back right after this. Anavar Media LCC is a dedicated team of professionals committed to helping business development scale and protect their websites, mobile applications, enterprise software solutions in the Northeast Ohio area. Locally owned since 2012, our client-centered values truly sets Anavar apart. Contact us today to learn how you can get 25% off your first project. Call them at 234-380-4852. Again, that's 234-380-4852, or visit them at www.anavar.com. Again, that's www.anavar.com.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the Wacky Waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the Wacky Waterfall.
It's the shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico.
After the show, make sure you stop in and join the After Hours AM, America's Most Haunted Facebook group. It is the fastest growing radio group on Facebook.
What do you want to do with this?
On December 18th, 1975, George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 children moved into a house in Amityville, Long Island. 19 days later, they were running for their lives. What happened to them became one of the best-selling books in years and is now a fascinating motion picture, an experience in terror to make you believe in the unbelievable, the Amityville Horror, from American International, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
Author Steve Asher brings us Hauntings of Trilogy. Steve's first book, Hauntings of the Kentucky State Penitentiary. This first installment of the trilogy tells us the tale of the Kentucky State Penitentiary and why it's so haunted. With every turn of the page will be something new and terrifying. Pick up Steve's new book, Hauntings of the Kentucky State Penitentiary, at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and all better bookstores everywhere. Do you have a question for our guest tonight? Don't feel like calling the show? Not a problem. Email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Again, that's afterhoursam@gmail.com.
Rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, she will, precious. She will get the hose.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, and we are experiencing a technical gremlin. So we are going to be getting Penny on here very shortly, we assure you. But, you know, I want Steve to finish his story about what was going on in that home, because I found that very intriguing. You had dishes moving and everything?
Yeah, well, and that was the dang darnest thing, is because, like I said, it was an older style home that had like the little hutch and everything was secured away. It wasn't like things were where they could just roll off like a strainer or something. Everything was put away properly and latched. And so anyway, kept hearing that, and you heard the music and all that, and it ended up being to where turned the lights on, and it was not there. And I believe we have Penny, if you're ready for me to add her.
Yes, add her, please. By all means, do so, sir. But this is technical difficulties. Every Halloween, it seems that there's a gremlin that pops up once in a while and totally, likes to ruin our radio day. And that's okay, though, because we're totally ready for it. And quite honestly, I could think of a million different horror flicks I just love for Halloween. And my favorite, of course, I gotta say it's The Shining. And I'm sure you guys would agree with me. Jack Nicholson going crazy, doing all his things, and really we enjoyed it. And I haven't had a chance yet to watch that this season. And I really want to. And, you know, it's here, that whole Here's Johnny moment. To me, that's Halloween. To a lot of people, you know, The Shining really represents, well, red rum, which was scary on its own, but every time I watch it, it's a little scarier because you notice a different nuance into the show each and every time, whether it's the Calumet bottles or whether it's, you know, the way things are set up, whether it's, you know, just the way Jack Nicholson uses his really, you know, just sly way of talking. And, you know, it's very, very cool. And you know, I loved it. I love The Shining, and it's my favorite Halloween horror movie. And of course, Penny Dreadful. Of course, she is absolutely talented, and I loved watching her stuff. And I know we got her on the line. Penny, are you there?
Well, yes, I'm right here.
Aha, Penny,
I paid
Penny.
you to say that about me, Joel. That was very.
I have the beautiful and talented Miss Penny Dreadful right here on the line with us.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Checks in the mail, right, Penny?
Indeed, absolutely.
I just want a kazoo. A kazoo and a
Just the kazoo, right?
The kazoo of doom, yes.
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 Yes, what made you guys settle on the kazoo of doom?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, it was forged in the fires of hell many centuries ago. There was the kazoo of doom, you see, and so I was responsible for playing it at one point, and that caused a few disasters, a few unnatural disasters, if you will, and then I banished it into another dimension. But it kept cropping up now and again. You know, Napoleon found it at one point, and he did what he did, and but I take no responsibility for that. It's untrue what many people say that I created the kazoo of doom. I did not. I merely brought it forth from the other dimension.
Gotcha.
Did you ever watch the movie, what was that movie? Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
I did. I have seen that with the masks and all that kind of cool stuff.
Right. You know, they took little pieces of Stonehenge, you know, and they used the essence of Stonehenge in the masks. That's sort of what happened with the kazoo of doom. I took it and I took the essence of the kazoo of doom and infused it into all these really cheap looking kazoos that you can buy at the party store.
Sure.
But I assure you, they are kazoos of doom, each and every one.
I believe you, and I've heard it's very hard to play Indigada Davida on them.
It's true. That's a tough one to get. You can play the entire repertoire of John Williams, however, so that's the plus side.
Well, that is good to know, and everyone, you know, you can get your own kazoo of doom. You can join the fan club over there at Penny Dreadful. That's right, and that is ShillingShockers.com. If I could read tonight, and if you could tell, I have a gravelly voice just for you, Penny. It's my werewolf voice. But you can go over there. You can join.
That's great. I like that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. You can join the fan club, and you too can get your own kazoo of doom. And of course, check everything else out over there. But Penny, you know, this is your season, Halloween. We're right here, right in your wheelhouse.
Gosh, talk about the season of the witch, right?
Oh,
this
is
it.
Heck yeah. Any big plans? You got any big plans? You be changing Halloween at all? You could be casting spells? What's going to happen? What can we expect?
Always. I'm working on a new spell right now, actually. I'm trying to boil up it's a new recipe for candy corn I've come up with. It's boiling in my cauldron right now. If you were here, the whole place just reeks of candy corn. And this new recipe I've come up with is great. Because, you know, you eat some candy corn and you just get sick every time. It's inevitable, no matter what. You eat some candy corn and it's like you get sick. But my candy corn, you can eat as much as you like and you'll never ever get sick. Yes.
Is that because you left out the Eye of Newt this year?
I left it out this year.
Yes. I have an Eye of Newt allergy.
There is one side effect, however. It will turn you into a water buffalo if you eat the candy corn. And I'm not saying you'll gain a lot of weight. I'm just literally will turn into a water buffalo. It's worth it, though. This candy corn is fantastic. Great candy corn. You love it.
Well,
I tell you, I had a friend that actually tried to do some of that on their own, but instead of the eye of Newt, they mistakenly used the eye of Juice Newton.
Oh,
so
no.
they
My goodness. I hate it when that happens.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It brings out your 1980s rock star.
Yes.
This is true. But there are worse things.
Oh, there are a lot worse things. And you do not want to hear me sing, I assure you.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure you do a mean monster mash.
Well, I try. I try. I do the monster, but the mash part I'm still working on.
Can you do the mashed potato at least?
Well, once in a while. Well, when the mood strikes me, when the moon is high in the sky, I just might do the mash. You know, but like I said, right now is the Halloween season, and of course you host one of the hottest, the best horror movie shows out there, and you guys are located in Massachusetts, which of course is the home of the witch.
The home of the witch, Salem, Massachusetts.
Absolutely. And, what's your favorite horror movie of all time?
My favorite horror movie of all time, gosh, I would have to say is probably, that's a tough question. That's like, what's your favorite color? M&M. They're all equally good. They're just a variety. I'm going to go with the Wolfman, though. Probably.
Really?
Yes, I love the Wolfman.
The Lon Chaney Jr. Yeah, I always wondered why he choked people rather than bite them. He is a wolf after all.
Well, maybe he ate before he went on camera.
Well, it could be he was on a diet.
He's on. Oh, that's true. He's on. You're probably right there. He might not want too many people to know about that, so don't spread that around. But no, it's a wonderful film. It's a very tragic figure. Lon Chaney Jr. was infused such pathos in his portrayal of the Wolfman that just always resonated with me. That film was such a wonderful film. But I love all of those great classic horror films. The Wolfman is just one of them. But Frankenstein, Dracula, all the Hammer films too, with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, all those great Vincent Price, Edgar Allan Poe films that Roger Corman did. It was great. It was such wonderful gothic horror films. It's I love that stuff.
The thing that I always noticed, especially like you were talking about, like the Wolfman, which is also one probably my favorite original, I guess you would call original movie monsters. All these characters, they had that human quality, be it a flaw or what you want to call it, humanity to them. They were sad creatures. They didn't ask for this, and they were just trying to get through it. Just a werewolf trying to make it through the day.
just a working werewolf.
Absolutely, you nail it there. I mean, it's something you see in all of those films, like Frankenstein too. I mean, what kid watching Frankenstein didn't feel for the monster?
I felt bad for Frankie. I really did. He was just he was a misunderstood monster.
True, very true.
He just wanted to be everyone's friend.
He does, and he's a cool guy. You should hang out with him.
Yeah, I would love to. I know you hang out with him quite often.
Oh yeah, we did date back around the 1600s.
Really?
And oh yes, it was. But we don't talk about it too much. He was, we got into a fight. He came apart at the seams. I tell you, when we were arguing, and it was
came apart. He got a real charge out of it.
Indeed. Wow. Geez, you should write for my show.
Well, now I know it's not polite to ask a young lady such as yourself her age. But how many hundreds of years are you old?
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm just a smidge over 700 years old.
Oh, geez. You don't look a day over 600.
Oh, gosh, thank you. What a flatterer. What a flatterer. What a nice guy. Isn't that nice? Well, thank you. I owe it all to my elixir, my sinister elixir. And, I have to drink it once a year in order to maintain my youth. And one year, my brother Nicholas Dreadful stole my elixir, and I started to age to my true age. I was, I started to get the wrinkles and nothing to take care of that. I tried the Noxzema, all that stuff, or Poxzema, if you will, and it did not work. It just didn't work. But I managed to recreate the elixir, so I'm back to my. I don't know why it didn't make me younger. I mean, sometimes this witchcraft stuff doesn't work as well as you'd think. You know, I mean,
Well,
make me
I have
18
heard
again.
you can.
Don't
Right.
give me a break.
Yeah, I did hear that you can get your elixir at Bath and Corpse Works.
Ooh, yes, you shop there too.
I do.
You have good taste.
Well, you know, I especially love the werewolf cologne, you know, with the wolf's bane in it.
Ah, yes, well, that's great stuff. Just don't wear it during a full moon.
Yeah, you got to go easy on that.
Well, I did that, and I had to shave like 10 times that day. It was horrible.
See, Warren Zevon wrote a song about you. I remember that one.
Yeah. I happened to be in London during the time I ran into him.
Uh-huh.
And Warren says, "You'd make for a great song." Leave me alone, I said. I ran away. No, of course, I'm kidding.
See,
but...
the things you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And sometimes the things I do know scare me. But
Well, you guys, I was listening to some of your show. You guys know about a lot of things.
Well, we try.
Steve, the masters of the paranormal here. This is interesting stuff that you guys talk about.
We try. We try to know a little bit about everything and a lot about nothing.
Well, geez, I can totally relate to that.
You know, but Penny, let's talk about you. Do you have any appearances coming up?
I do indeed. We just have one coming up this Saturday. In fact, at the Harvest of Horrors in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Foulmouth, Massachusetts. No, it's not Foulmouth. It's actually a very nice place. Falmouth, Massachusetts, out in Cape Cod. It's an outdoor haunted attraction with a cornfield and a forest, and you go into the forest on this wagon, and I'll tell you, there's nothing like going out into the forest in haunted New England in October, because it really feels like Halloween. You know, you got the leaves all changing colors and the cold wind blowing through the trees, and it smells like burning leaves out there, and it's a fantastic time. And they're setting us up in some sort of tent out there, so we'll be in a tent of terror.
Tent of terror.
My tent of mystery. So come visit me, and I'll be there with. I think I'll be joined by my co-host, Dr. Manfred von Bülow, the semi-retired monster hunter, who's often appears in the show with me. He has a really pronounced Vasarian accent. He's often confused with the German accent, but it's actually the Vasarian accent. And he will be joining me, and we'll be. I think he's bringing a megaphone for some reason. Don't ask. He's an eccentric guy.
Well, you know, why don't you tell us the cast of characters that you have on your program?
They are characters, I'll tell you that much. You know, they're just, you'd have to live with them every day. You would know. Well, of course, there's my snarling darling Garou the werewolf, who is, he's a very happy fellow. You can find, if you look at the clips online, he's an energetic, sort of happy werewolf. You've never met a happier werewolf. Most werewolves are very tragic, creatures and feral, and they want to tear across the countryside. Garou he just likes to have a good time. So you got Garou, and then of course we have Dr. Manfred von Bülow, the semi-retired monster hunter. I don't know. We wound up becoming friends at some point. People often ask me, why does a monster hunter hang out with a witch and a werewolf? And his reason is we have cable. So he comes over, and we make some popcorn, and we all share a common love of classic horror films. So
sure.
So Dr. von Bülow comes over. He has tried to burn me at the stake a couple of times, but we talked it over, and it's all good.
You had a heart-to-heart. Let them know, hey, I do have a fire extinguisher.
Limits.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Say, this is okay. This is not good.
That's right. That's right.
This is a steak-free household, and that's the way it's gonna stay.
And that's it. And now we have an understanding. There's a sign on the door. No fire allowed in here, And he understands now. And I did make his milk go sour for about a month after that. And, I probably shouldn't have done that. That was vindictive.
Now, Penny, you have, not to veer away too far from the creatures or the cast, you are also an avid YouTuber. There's plenty of videos that people could check out with you on it.
Right, a huge YouTuber, for sure.
Yes.
That's where I initially had come across some of your stuff. As I told you, you were, I believe, I'm trying to think of the name of the documentary. I'm so sorry. I'm befuddled in your presence. That's what it is.
The documentary about horror hosts?
I believe it was, yeah. And I saw you talking about the northwestern or northeastern folks and stuff. And
yes. Well, we did a Halloween special called The Horror Hosts of New England.
Right.
And That was we did that quite a few years ago, and it was we were introducing our viewers or revisiting some of the great horror hosts of New England's past, such as Simon Sanctorum out of Boston. We'll put a few clips online of our show. We don't have the entire shows up on YouTube, but we have like little kind of snippets on there of episodes. And yeah, Simon, that was quite a find because he was a television horror host here in the 1970s, and he was a fantastic horror host, and I did some digging and wound up finding his wife, and she had some 3/4-inch tapes of his show up in her attic.
I thought you were going to say you dug his. I thought you were going to say you dug his wife up.
Oh my God.
It was a ritual. I didn't have to dig her up. I just had to commune with her spirits. That's all you got to do. This is why do the dirty work.
Well, that is true.
Your cult to commune.
Isn't that why we all have henchmen? To do that,
exactly.
To do the dirty work.
I have Guru, but he's too lazy to do that. So.
You need a good henchman like Steve. Steve needs to be
bone in there and just let him start digging.
Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, see, I like how you think.
I'm a problem solver.
I like how you think. So yeah, we found some old Simon footage. But you mentioned the castmates. I forgot to mention Luna, who's the escaped mental patient. She's a mad woman from the Danvers. And
you have one of those in your show too? I got one too. It's Steve.
Oh my goodness! See, maybe you guys did, know each other. You might know Luna. She's. We went to horror high school together. Did you go to horror high school? You sound familiar. You sound so familiar.
Me or Steve? I think Steve did.
Well, I think Steve did. Didn't you? Pretty sure you did.
All I can say is I had to be relocated in a horror protection program.
Well, never forget it. Here's how. This is what happened: is I saw Steve running down I-90 near Massachusetts, and right in front of him was Luna.
I had socks on.
Was Luna? Okay. Now she ran by, and I grabbed Steve, and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna make you into something you never want to become." And he's like, "What's that, Sane?" And I said, "No, a radio host." No! And he screamed, and here he is.
That's amazing. That's exactly how I became a horror host. It's very similar. It was just a spell that backfired.
I claimed there's candy in the van. He got in. There's no candy.
So much in common. Were you the clown driving? Was that you?
No,
the clown in the van?
Well, it might have been me. I'm not going to confirm nor deny that because of the creepy clown epidemic. I don't want to get that name out there.
You started that whole scene, though, didn't you?
I might have. I just might have.
They're posers. They're just trying.
They're wannabes. They're wannabes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Son, come get the real thing. No. But yes,
we'll just see it all again. It's just like there'll be like clown makeup on the walls and like big ugly shoe prints, and it's gone.
It's gone to a very dark place.
It has. It really has. I mean, creepy clowns have been everywhere. And of course, like I was saying, I grabbed Steve and I made him become, a radio host, which, he kicked and screamed. But, tranquilizers and candy go a long way.
That's right.
He had beef jerky, too. I'm a sucker for beef jerky.
Little Jack Links, and next thing you know, there he is. He's talking. But no, I really enjoyed watching you on TV. I really have enjoyed watching because it's and we're going to talk further, and we have her for an hour and a half, guys. So when we come back, we're going to talk further about the nuts and bolts of the business, things like that. But really, quite honestly, I enjoyed the humor, and you don't see that kind of funny humor anymore. It's everything's so too darn serious.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say that. We just want to we're a bunch of hams, and we just like having a good time. So, and we hope that our viewers do as well.
Yeah. I mean, you have a really big fan base, and it really shows through because what you guys are doing. But and a young lady such as yourself, having a good time in front of the screen, hanging out with mental patients and werewolves and. Come on, that's the best gig anyone could ever have.
Well, that's what I dreamed of as a child, hanging out with mental patients and werewolves and monster hunters, and who wouldn't want to do that, And that's what it's all about, When Bobby Boris Pickett is singing the Monster Mash, who didn't want to be at that party? I know I did.
Yeah, well,
and that's why the accolades are so deserved, And that's the thing. You've really built this whole universe around this, and everyone's inclusive. You know, everyone feels that they can come to the party.
Well, what I want to know is who trained you to be a witch? I mean, you know, obviously you had to have a mentor. Was there a mentor that made Penny dreadful?
I did. And, you know, you might have seen the movie The Wizard of Oz, right?
I have.
Well, it wasn't her.
Okay, good.
Pooh from HR Puffin stuff.
Witchy Pooh.
Yes, and she's still looking for that flute. She will not give it up. It's like I tell Witchy Pooh, just let it go. Just let it go. Let go of that. Just don't.
Yeah, well, give her a kazoo and tell her, hey, it's going to be okay. This is close enough.
I've offered. She's declined.
Just will not take the kazoo.
She needs the flute.
Just take it. Just take it and be happy with it. Be one with it.
It's her security broom. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true.
Broom. I do want a broom. She never taught me how to make one of those.
No.
I would love to have one.
Well, what do you ride a broom or are you a vacuum cleaner kind of girl? What do you use to get around?
Oh, the broom's in the shop right now. So I'm taking the bus, but the broom is, you know, I honestly, like, I have to witch hike now because my broom's
witch hike.
Yeah, I got mad the last time I was flying my broom. It was an accident I had. I got mad at a passerby and I flew off the handle. And is this what the part where I get kicked off the show?
No.
I'm sorry, getting like an idiot over
and it was insured, of course, by Mutual of Ghoul Insurance.
Yes. Oh, see, I'm telling you, you guys, Joel and Steve, new writers on Shilling Shockers.
We would love to. We are full of one-liners. That's what we do. If it weren't for the one-liner, we'd be nowhere.
That's it. That's how I survived that many years working in prison. You've got to be quick. You got to be able to talk. You got to be personable.
Exactly. Excellent. You worked in a prison, you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was a correctional officer for over 10 years.
That was before he became insane and I got him off I-90. But before that, he was a corrections officer. And
my goodness. Wow, that must have been intense. See, doing that, I can only imagine.
It was a living.
It was a living. Awkwardly enough, he worked on death row. Where you work? Death row. But it's a living. Come on. What do you want?
You must have had some interesting experiences working there. I mean, it must have been. Was it haunted? Was it a haunted prison?
Actually, it was. I actually had just wrote a book a few months back called "The Hauntings of the Kentucky State Penitentiary," available on Amazon and every reputable bookstore out there. Thank you for the plug.
Even bad bookstores?
Wow, see, that's good. Good synergy there.
I even saw you in an adult bookstore.
You would be the one to find it because you're the one that would go there.
Hey, you know, good help's hard to find.
Okay, now I was running past that store when you found me. Were you coming back from there?
No, never.
That's why the car smelled like latex. I thought that was a mattress. Was I laying on a dog?
Never. What are you talking about, Steve? I have no idea. I was not down there by the docks.
Okay.
That was not my 79 Chrysler you saw outside.
Good God. I hope you're wearing heels, Penny, because it's getting deep.
I'm trying to follow. I think I have an idea of what's going on, but I'm not going to speculate.
Well, you know, it's too complicated for the minute we have before we run to the Fox News. It's very complicated. Love is a fickle thing, let me tell you.
It is. You're right.
But
it's especially necromantic love.
Ah, yes. That is the sweetest of all, though, if you can pull it off.
It is true.
Oh, stop.
Sorry.
Cut it out.
See,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. We got to run to the news. We come back.
My fault.
When we come back, more Penny Dreadful. We come back. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love what happens next.
Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The Pentagon's controversial move to reclaim re-enlistment bonuses from thousands of California National Guard soldiers is over, at least for now. Defense Chief Ash Carter suspending it. Fox Radio's John Decker live at the White House.
In a statement, Secretary Carter said the process for many has moved too slowly, which has led to unreasonable burdens on service members. The suspension of efforts to seek the repayments of $15,000 or more in re-enlistment bonuses does not necessarily mean that the debts have been forgiven. Prior to Carter's announcement, the House Oversight Committee said it launched an investigation into the Pentagon's attempt to reclaim the bonuses for soldiers who agreed to re-enlist for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Hillary Clinton set to take the stage in Florida, continuing her push for early voters and on Election Day, while Donald Trump makes what his campaign is calling a pit stop.
My theme today is 5 words: under budget and ahead of schedule. That's what we did. Under budget and ahead of schedule.
The grand opening of his new hotel in the historic D.C. Post Office building before he heads to rallies in North Carolina. Game 2 of the World Series tonight in Cleveland, where Fox's Jared Max is live at Progressive Field.
Major League Baseball hopes to get Game 2 in without any weather delays. The tarp currently covering the infield and has been for the last couple of hours. Start was originally slated for 8:08 Eastern Time, but last night that was changed to 7:08 Eastern. Baseball hopes that Mother Nature will not wreak havoc on Game 2, and the Indians probably feel the same. Cleveland jumped out to a 1-0 series lead last night, shutting out the Cubs 6-0. Tonight, Cleveland turns to pitcher Trevor Bauer, while the Cubs counter with Jake Arrieta. Jared Max, Fox News in Cleveland.
Thanks, Jared. Wall Street right now, stocks are mixed. The Dow is up about 49 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced. The fight to retake Iraq's second largest city may be about to ramp up.
Today, troops did begin massing nearer Mosul, bringing in reinforcements for that battle. But ahead of them, ISIS is said to also be preparing, with some media reporting that hundreds of fighters have been seen entering the city from the west wearing suicide vests, and that couldn't be independently verified. Today, Iraqi special forces also moved 1,000 people out from villages near the front lines, while at the same time ahead of them, ISIS are said to have grown increasingly brutal in the city as it seeks to eliminate potential threats from among the local population.
Fox's Benjamin Hall. The U.S. has dozens of troops embedded with Iraqi and Kurdish forces in advisory roles away from the front lines, the Pentagon has said, in addition to providing coalition air support. Russia needs a new place to refuel a fleet of ships after pressure on Spain to say no.
Russia withdrawing a request to refuel a fleet of warships in Spain following diplomatic pressure over where the vessels may be headed. The Spanish government said earlier today that it was considering a request from Moscow, but that position criticised by the British Defence Minister Michael Fallon.
We'd be extremely concerned that any NATO member should consider assisting a Russian carrier group that might end up bombing Syrian civilians.
The move also questioned by the head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg.
We are concerned about the potential use of this carrier group to increase attacks against Aleppo.
Stoltenberg calling Russia's tactics in Syria disgraceful. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
A decision just announced by U.S. safety regulators not to open a formal investigation into complaints of failing transmissions in Nissan trucks. This after finding that most complaints were customer satisfaction issues. So the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says no further investigation is needed. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me,
Steve.
Hey, Steve, man. We got still Penny Dreadful on with us. She hasn't gone anywhere, but we're going to shift gears a little bit. Now, Penny, how you doing over there? Now, are we going to get Penny Dreadful, or are we going to get, what are we going to get here? You tell me.
Well, okay, this is me. It's Danielle. This is Penny Dreadful Unplugged, I guess, or Penny Dreadful's doppelganger, if you will. She refers to me as her doppelganger quite derisively, actually. So,
text.
What's that?
I said Penny Unhexed.
Penny Unhexed.
Unhexed.
Ooh, I like that. Penny Unhexed. Sweet.
Well,
yeah. So Penny's doppelganger.
Well, how did you come up? Okay, Danielle, I guess I got to start at the top. How did you come up with the Penny Dreadful character? I mean, where did this all come from?
Well, I'll tell you. This was back, I guess it was around 98. My good friend Ivan we had been friends since high school, and Ivan, who plays Dr. Von Bulow on Shilling Shockers now, we were talking about doing a horror movie host show at that point. We grew up watching local television out of the Boston and Providence areas. So we had shows like Creature Double Feature, which did not have a host, but it was like 2 movies on a Saturday afternoon. And Creature Double Feature is sort of iconic around here. Yeah. Willie Whistle, the Clown. I mean, we had Captain Bob, like all these locally produced shows. And in the 90s, we started to notice that these shows were disappearing more and more with the advent of cable. We loved Commander USA on the USA Network, who was a horror host. He was a superhero character, but he was a horror host. So all these kind of things that we kind of connected with and enjoyed. We talked about doing our own horror host show. We were both involved in a sketch comedy troupe. We both have a background in performing and filmmaking and things of this nature. So we're like, well, we should do a horror movie host show. But we didn't know about how we could get the movies or afford the rights to movies and all of this sort of thing. Flash forward a few years, and I was in a production of Medea, the Greek tragedy.
Okay.
And I'm playing Medea. I was playing this vengeful sorceress from Greek tragedy, and I started during the break in the show. I don't know if you're familiar with it, that Medea kills her own children.
I'm familiar with the story because we read it when I was a child. Some of it was, when I was in high school, I read Medea. My gosh, kind of a dark tale.
Oh, very dark. Yeah. I mean, she helped Jason get the Golden Fleece. She was this famous sorceress who helped Jason get the Golden Fleece, and then her play Medea is set later, and they have children. And Jason, he wants to expand his horizons, so to speak. He wants to go marry this young princess and ditch Medea, and you don't do that to this powerful sorceress.
No.
So she enacts all sorts of vengeance on him. Horrible things she does, and ultimately the ultimate revenge is to kill the kids. Anyway, during a break in rehearsals, the kids, and I loved those kids, and we would joke around, and they'd run up to me and say, "Are you going to kill us again tonight?"
Wow.
And they're dousing themselves with fake blood backstage before they went on. And
Kill me first.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was just really twisted, but awesome. And so we're backstage, and I was joking around with them in character. Like, I was in character joking around and saying, "Yes, Mommy's going to kill you today," whatever it was.
Sure.
And so it struck me, it was like I was making these morbid puns and things, and I was like, that's very horror host-like,
Yeah.
And then I realized, gosh, we're in Massachusetts. I'm in Massachusetts. As you said earlier, Massachusetts is known for witches and Salem and the Salem witch trials, and it kind of hit me, gosh, there's never been a witch horror movie hostess in Massachusetts. That's a no-brainer. I mean, you would think there would have been one, but there wasn't.
Yeah, you would have thought by now, that there would have been a whole bunch of them. Because, that's Massachusetts horror calling card, is the witch trials. And you would have thought it would have just been... But, that's good, though, because, it was definitely meant for you to play this character.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to do it, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. If nobody has done this witch horror host in Massachusetts, then I want to do it. And I had been using the name Penny Dreadful for a while. I was in a band, and my name in the band was a punk band, and I was Penny Dreadful. And I did a radio show with my husband as well, and my name as the radio DJ was Penny Dreadful. We did a show called Black Leather Rock and Roll Radio, and we'd play like punk, rockabilly, surf rock, and that sort of stuff. And so I just kept that name because it worked for a horror host character.
Oh yeah, it works perfect.
Yeah, so that's I kind of retain that, and at around that same time, I had discovered a show out of New York called Gula Gogo, and we're good friends with those guys now. But when I found their show, it was such a cool show, and it was like on cable access, and it inspired me to sort of like, wow, they're doing this show that's better than anything else I've seen on TV lately, and they're doing it through public access. So I started exploring that option, found out about other horror hosts around the country doing this, and found out about public domain films, that these hosts, that they were kind of a collective called the Horror Host Underground at the time, and they were playing each other's shows and using public domain horror films, of which there are many.
Yeah, there are, and believe it or not, I couldn't believe this. Last few years ago, a friend of mine, and I hate to be a name dropper, George Romero, he made a movie called Night of the Living Dead, and everyone's heard of it. That is a public domain film.
It sure is, yeah.
When he brought that to my attention, I couldn't hardly believe it. I was thinking, well, George, what the heck? You know, it's the quintessential zombie movie, and here it is public domain. How the heck did that happen? And, of course, a long story behind it, how it became public domain, but... And you're right. There's a lot of great classic horror that is absolutely 100% public domain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of it's pretty good stuff, and some of it's, you know, that's all fun. It's like B-movie stuff, and there are some gems in there, like Carnival of Souls is such a good movie. We did that one a while ago. And so, so I found out about these movies. I did a lot of research, and then I kind of took the seed of the Medea character, but then I sort of made it way more hammy and fun and over the top and not vengeful, but just kind of, you know, spooky and gothy, but also...
Tone down the baby eating a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah, get rid of that aspect, you know. And,
well, you know, no one likes to eat babies anymore. What's up with that? It's such tender meat.
These witches today, they
don't talk about what's in the flying ointment.
And they fit perfectly on my spit. No, sorry. I apologize. That was way over the edge.
I never engage in that sort of behavior. There's nothing on record that indicates that I ever did that.
They can't prove a thing.
They can't prove anything. See? No way! You'll never get me, coppers. Now, your husband, he's passed away. I know it's a hard subject, and he has and still does such a big fan base, and he was such a big part of the show. Can you go ahead and touch on that? I'd really like, you know, I respectfully ask you to, because it is a hard subject.
Sure. You're right. My husband was Magoo. That was his name. And he just, his heroes, we had a lot in common in terms of our love of classic films, and he was a big classic comedy fan, as am I, but his hero was Harpo. All the Marx Brothers, really, but Harpo was like his big hero. And when we were putting the show together, I asked him if he could play the werewolf. I said, can you be like my husband in the show too, but you're like also like my sidekick werewolf character. You don't talk, you just growl and howl and that sort of thing. And he said, yeah, sure, baby, I'll do it. And so he took that and just ran with it and turned it into something entirely his own, like something special, like with a little bit of Scooby-Doo, a little bit of Harpo Marx, and a whole lot of himself in that. He was Guru, the character he played, was more a clown than a werewolf. Like, he's not a scary clown, though. Like, kids loved Guru. Like, we would go to these conventions, and he was sort of like the Pied Piper. You know, kids would just follow him around, and they were just fascinated by him. And he just, you're right, he did earn a big following for his character, and he deserved that. You know, when he got sick, we were shooting season 9 of the show, and he wanted to still shoot the episodes he was in, and he couldn't do as much. He had, you know, he was advanced stage cancer, you know, but he still wanted to be Guru and do the episodes, and he wanted people to see those episodes. He said, you know, that's kind of his legacy that he wanted to leave, was doing that character. And gosh, I mean, after he passed away, I decided to end the show at that point, and we were on a pretty good trajectory of what we were doing. You know, we had gotten on a lot of stations, and a big part of that was him. He was such a big part of what we did. That I didn't feel right continuing the series without him. And we all felt that way. Rebecca Paiva, who's the director on the show, and Ivan Bernier, who plays Von Bulow. I mean, it's a collaborative effort between us, and Eric Parks as well, who's assists Rebecca with directing. We all kind of sat down, the four of us, after Magoo passed, and we decided it just didn't feel right.
But nobody, to be honest with you, nobody would have faulted you, Danielle, if you would have packed it up, to be honest with you. I mean, so the bravery to persevere. I mean, it speaks volumes.
I appreciate that. It's just hard. It was hard to continue doing the show. So we just do specials now. We do a special once a year, and that's it.
Yeah. And he was so young.
Yeah,
yes, he was. How old was he? I know he wasn't that old.
He was 51 years old.
Yeah, I mean, that's just entirely too young. Again, condolences.
Such a waste.
And absolutely. And cancer is a horrible, horrible thing that touches most everybody. All of our listeners, most every one of our listeners. I've been very open about my own father dying of cancer, and it's been amazing how many listeners get a hold of me going, I've had the same thing in my life. Cancer is unfortunately the one disease that seems to unify all of us, because most everybody will know somebody or have a family member that's touched by it.
It's true. It really is true. And I guess when I was a kid, it just never really occurred to me. But as I've gotten older, you just see more and more people whose lives are affected by it and touched by it in some way. Somebody they know has dealt with cancer.
It's like I said, it's a horrible disease, and it robs us of far too many things in our lives. And again, I applaud your bravery to do specials, to keep the Penny Dreadful persona alive and well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like he would want me to do that. I think he would want me to keep Penny going in some capacity. And I love doing it. It's really fun to do. I don't know if it's brave so much as it's just part of me, that I've done this character for not even a character, it's a persona more than a character, for 10 years now. And I don't know, it was funny when we shot the Halloween special a couple of weeks ago. We're doing the Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, and we hadn't shot. Yeah. Oh, it's such a great movie. We hadn't done anything in a year. We hadn't shot any Penny Dreadful stuff. I hadn't done Penny in about a year. And when we got together to shoot, Rebecca came and we set up the equipment, and Ivan showed up, and Eric, and it was just like going right back into it. There was there was no rough, awkward sort of start to it. It was just like, yep, we got this.
Yeah, that's how we do our radio show. Is we'll be like, whatever, all mundane and down. As soon as that microphone hits, hey, here we are, After Hours AM. It's kind of weird how it just kind of kicks in. It's like muscle memory almost.
Right? Yeah, exactly. How long have you guys been doing your show?
Well, I have been doing this one, I've been in radio 20 plus years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
AM, FM, satellite, you name it. I've been on every platform. And now, of course, we're over at iHeartRadio, which is the Big Daddy, which is Clear Channel, and we're broadcasting over there as well. So you're going to be heard on iHeartRadio. So I encourage everybody that's listening and will actually download. And podcasting has become a beautiful thing as well. It's taken radio to the next level. Where you can, the on-demand stuff is actually now, for the first time in my career, outweighing the live presence. Mm-hmm. More listeners via the demand than the live. So it's
just cool because there are shows about every topic you can imagine, any specialized interest that you might have. There's probably a show about a podcast.
I'm sure there's a basket weaving podcast somewhere.
There probably is.
Underwater.
I haven't Googled that, but there
And
probably
it sounds like this.
That's it. Now, Daniel, I know that when, which I had been in radio years and years ago, but just a little small market and stuff like that, and just once you start a family, at least in my situation, you couldn't hardly, take care of stuff that way. So that's actually where I ended up going more toward working in corrections. Years ago, my father, who's now passed as well, had worked in that, and it sort of became a thing. But that's the thing where you never quite get it out of your system. Because I grew up, like I told Joe before, I would listen to a lot of the old AM programs and all the serials and stuff like that, which, a lot of the stuff before it went on to become like thriller and suspense and all that.
Great stuff.
Was on radio. And that's really how, I know on my end. I mean, I know you was exposed to a lot of this stuff. And as a father of 3 daughters, would you say that your character has sort of empowered you? Do you feel that it's added something to you? Not so much added to you as a female, but what I mean is, do you think it's definitely helped you in situations to where you feel like you have a little bit more command of what's going on around you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, with Penny, Penny, you can be fearless when you take on that guise. You can just that persona kind of allows you to because there's something about it. It's like putting on some sort of armor or something there's that barrier that it's a character. And Penny Dreadful is a lot more. I wish I had the confidence of Penny Dreadful sometimes, because a lot of times I'll second guess myself or question whether what I'm doing is right, and I have to kind of, process everything and figure it out. And Penny is just, she just goes for it without question.
Just, caution to the wind. Caution to the wind kind of mentality, and just see where the chips kind of fall.
Absolutely, yeah. And I tend to be, I've worked hard. When I got involved in theater and performing and improv, particularly improv comedy, I really started coming out of my shell. But I was really an introvert when I was younger. I had a close, small group of friends, but I was very introverted. I always had a difficult time in groups of people or approaching people, and performing has helped me come out of my shell. But even now, I still tend to fall back into those behaviors at times. If I'm in a group of people or something, sometimes I'm a little nervous about being the first one to talk, or kind of shy. I was once told by a director, "You're the only shy actress I've ever." But as Penny, it's sort of there isn't that fear, because Penny is like almost like an extension of all the sort of confidence that I have channeled into that.
I get it. I do, because it's the same thing for me with this microphone. When I'm not behind the microphone, I'm kind of a quiet guy, to be honest with you. I mean, and I'm kind of want to fly under the radar. But once I'm behind this microphone, it's like a beast takes over, it's so to speak. And here I am, big as life, and and we're interviewing, people. A lot of and of course we love, this has been a wonderful discussion, and I really appreciate again you coming on the show, and we get a lot of cool people on that I would never have, like yourself, that I'd never have a chance to talk to if it weren't for this microphone. So I'm blessed in that way.
And that's awesome. That's such a cool part of it, because you can think and look back and say, wow, I was able to meet all these people and do all these things because of this thing that I do. And that's such a great feeling. I've met so many cool people doing this. Like, I had the most surreal experience it was last year at the Rhode Island Comic Con. And, every once in a while, conventions will say, oh, you want to come and we'll give you a table, come and do an appearance here, And so I was at Rhode Island Comic Con, and I was in the green room, and everyone was kind of eating, and my friend Gremlina from Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. I don't know if you remember Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
I do.
I'm good friends with Gremlina, who was one of the wrestlers in that show. And she was in the green room, and she was sitting with the Honky Tonk Man from wrestling and the $1 Million Man.
I knew both of them.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, they're great. I chatted with them a bit too at the con, and then there were Chuckles and Chuck D. Clown, who are these evil clown characters on public access in Rhode Island, and they were all sitting together. So I went over and said hi to them, and as I'm talking to them, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, runs up to me, and I had given him a DVD set the day before because my husband was a big fan of SpongeBob, and so I said, and he is. Tom Kenny's a big horror movie fan, so he was looking and he was naming all the actors in the movies, and he was like super excited. So he runs up to me as I'm walking away from the wrestlers, and he's like, Penny Dreadful, I can't wait to watch your show. I'm so excited about watching Shilling Shockers. I don't have a DVD player in my room. And he was like really excited, so you could hear a little bit of the SpongeBob in his voice, which was awesome. And so he's like, oh, I can't wait to watch it. When I get back, I'm going to watch it. And so he walks away, he goes to go get some food, and I look over and I see Michael Dorn, who played Worf on Star Trek The Next Generation, eating at his table, and Marina Sirtis, who played Deanna Troi, and she's yelling something across the room. And I was like, and I'm standing there dressed in a witch outfit in the middle of all of this, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is
where else did this happen?
These people are here together.
Well, that's what's great. Is you get that mishmash and just that cross culture of all these fandoms, and where you have all you have like when I was a kid, you had your Star Wars clique, you had your Star Trek clique, and neither one spoke to each other. You know what I'm saying? It was like a civil war and like nerds.
It's like the Bloods and the Crips.
Exactly, it's a gang. I could just imagine the gang throwdown, the rumble that takes place with that. You know,
my God.
I got a lightsaber. No, but I got a phaser. Let's knock it out in the parking lot.
You underestimate the power of the force of fan loyalty, and that's the thing. But the thing is now when you go to that, and I hope myself to be actually able to go to some of the horror cons and stuff like that and appear at them. But you see these different people mishmashing from other stuff, and it's all cool now, you know, and everybody's like, oh, well, that's really. Man, your outfit's really cool, and a lot of people's into the cosplay aspect of it, and there's that. It's like it's okay. We're all nerds here. Come on in, have some fun. No one's gonna jock on you. It's all right.
Now 10% pocket protector free.
I have never seen anyone with a pocket protector at a convention.
Oh, it's under it.
I've seen people in a variety of colorful costumes, but never a pocket protector.
Never a pocket protector. Okay. Well, you know, I have seen. I have seen, I want to say a Jason Voorhees look-alike sporting the pocket protector one time.
Really?
And it was just hilarious. I'm like, wait a minute. He's got a hockey mask, but yet he has a pocket protector.
Like that.
Wow.
Not scary. Automatically undermines the scary factor there for sure.
He looked like Jason the gym teacher.
He's not afraid to explore his his logical side, his analytical side. It's okay. It's hot. You know.
It looked like Jason the gym teacher.
Did he have the really, really way too short pants?
He did, to be honest with you, and he had white socks that went way up and with black shoes. You know,
black shoes.
Oh yeah, the black shoes right there. You know, you're not cool unless you're rocking the black shoes, the white socks.
That's right. I remember at Rock and Shock one year, there was the Insane Clown Posse was playing the band, and they had all the Juggalos were there at the convention, and there was tough guys dressed in clown makeup, and there was this one guy, he was walking by, and he was like sort of this burly looking guy, and he had the clown makeup on, and he looked tough, and I look at him, and I see he has camo pants on, but his camo pants ended in big clown ruffles.
No way!
You can't look badass with clown ruffles on your camo pants. It just doesn't.
I can't take you seriously. I can't take you seriously, there, Juggalo. Not when you're looking that way. I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I admired the fact that he had the ruffles on the camel pants, but it did undermine the tough aspect.
His mom probably worked for weeks to get.
Oh, more than likely, in the basement, feverishly sweating. Mom, are you done with my pants yet? No, the ruffles are just going on, honey. I want white this time, not pink. But I think you look good in pink.
But there are some great clowns, like I mentioned, Chuck and Chuckles. They're usually around at those conventions. They're a good time. Those guys.
Oh, so I can only imagine.
Although they claim to be evil clowns, but they don't seem very evil to me.
No, I know. I've seen evil clowns, and they're not evil clowns.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Oh my gosh, yes. We got to run to break, everyone. If we come back, more Penny Dreadful. Don't go anywhere. It's only going to get better. Anavar Media LCC is a dedicated team of professionals committed to helping business development scale and protect their websites, mobile applications, enterprise software solutions in the Northeast Ohio area. Locally owned since 2012, our client-centered values truly sets Anavar apart. Contact us today to learn how you can get 25% off your first project. Call them at 234-380-4852. Again, that's 234-380-4852, or visit them at www.anavar.com. Again, that's www.anavar.com.
Are you hungry? Hungry as a gremlin? Here's gremlin cereal.
Gremlins, gremlins, bite after bite. What a tasty way to satisfy a gremlin appetite.
Gremlins is a deliciously sweet, crunchy cereal that satisfies the hungry little gremlin that's in all of us.
Gremlins, gremlins, bite after bite. What a tasty way to satisfy a gremlin appetite.
Gremlin cereal is part of this complete breakfast.
Gremlin, yum yum.
After the show, make sure you stop in and join the After Hours AM, America's Most Haunted Facebook group. It is the fastest growing radio group on Facebook.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If pop culture is to be believed, roughly 40% of all people are actually vampires, or dating one. Well, undead or not, you can always save on a clean, comfortable room at Motel 6, even if you sleep during the day, because direct sunlight turns you into a pile of sparkly coffee grounds. Speaking of which, we have free coffee every morning. You day sleepers may want to go for the decaf. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
Author Steve Asher brings us Hauntings of Trilogy. Steve's first book, Hauntings of the Kentucky State Penitentiary. This first installment of the trilogy tells us the tale of the Kentucky State Penitentiary and why it's so haunted. With every turn of the page will be something new and terrifying. Pick up Steve's new book, Hauntings of the Kentucky State Penitentiary, at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and all better bookstores everywhere. Do you have a question for our guest tonight? Don't feel like calling the show? Not a problem. Email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Again, that's afterhoursam@gmail.com.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. We are laughing too hard to come back properly. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me.
Kaiser.
Is Kaiser Rolls, a.k.a. Steve Love Machine Asher. Yeah, he did the Love Machine. Oh, yeah. But we are back with Love Machine here, and we have Miss Penny Dreadful. And we are talking all things horror, and of course Danielle is her real name, and we are talking about her evolution as a radio host first, and then she became the on-air, on YouTube and on TV persona that we all know and love. And of course now we're going to shift gears a little bit. Now I got to ask you, Danielle, what's your belief in the paranormal? I mean, real paranormal. Have you ever had a weird experience?
I have had weird experiences, and I have a very open mind to that stuff. You know, I have spiritual beliefs. I don't think we can judge the world simply based on what we can see. I think there is another side to things. There are many sides to things, and I had an experience when I was a kid. It was really weird, and it still haunts me to this day. It's freaky, and I can't explain it. And I've asked some paranormal researchers about it, and
Sure.
I've gotten some different answers. I'm curious to hear your take on this. So, when I was a kid, I was lying, and I was very young. I was in my crib, and I wasn't an infant. I was like, my parents didn't get me a bed till I was like maybe 3 years old.
16 years old, sweet 16
It was
birthday.
like last week. It was last week.
Yeah.
So, so I'm lying in bed, and I see my dad, and he's getting ready for bed and brushing his teeth in the bed, because I could see the bathroom from my bed.
Sure.
And I was awake. I was not asleep. I was watching him. He was getting ready for bed, washing his face, brushing his teeth. And then I rolled over to go to sleep, and I'm looking through the little bars in the crib, and I see a hand coming up on the side of my bed, and it's a hideous hand.
Ugh.
It's white. It's a white hand with long, yellowish nails and warts, like
Oh my gosh.
big like nodules on it, and it was coming very slowly over the side, and I started screaming, and I saw the hand go back down quickly, and I was screaming and crying, and I wouldn't sleep in the bed, and so my parents tried to calm me down, and I slept in there. They took me to their bed, and they remember this very well too. They remember how absolutely horrified and freaked out I was, and I would not sleep in that room, in that bed again. They got rid of the crib finally. They got rid of the crib, and they got me like a little a bed, but and I never saw it again. I did have night terrors after that though. I'd have dreams where I couldn't I couldn't breathe, and then I'd wake up and go like this, and I'd see like right before I woke up, I'd see like a cat or something. So I don't
Really?
know what. Yeah, I don't know what this was. All of this.
That is scary as hell, Danielle.
You know, it really is disturbing, and it never happened again. I never saw that hand again. I never want to see that hand again.
Well, I don't blame you.
I never really had any sort of notable paranormal experience after that, other than after my husband died. A couple of things happened, but nothing to like that. That was that.
Do you think that maybe, and this is just me spitballing because, my involvement with the paranormal and stuff, maybe that was sort of a suggestion in a way? When I think of a hand like that, I think of something like a kind of an old gnarled up witch or something.
Yeah.
That maybe have planted that like Batman and bats, and maybe that was your beacon call.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
A disgusting
Wow.
hand. Oh,
That's-
jeez.
Maybe so. I don't.
I could think of
I
better
don't know.
I gotta stop
beacons
beating
to
these
have.
guys.
I mean, than
Whatever it was bad. I don't know what it
Did you try to give it a 5?
was.
I would have missed that one too.
A 1. I gave it a 1.
No, but wow.
I talked to a paranormal researcher, and he felt that it was my it was like a calling to help other people who experience frightening paranormal things, and that I should become a paranormal researcher.
Well,
I think he was trying to
sure,
encourage me
yeah.
to do that, and I don't know. I just
There's better ways to tell you to help people than a big old hand coming after you.
yeah,
with warts
yeah, and
on
I don't know
it.
if I want to see that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I
I
mean-
want to see more of that.
By the way,
I saw that. I don't want to see more of that.
I believe the hand was a helping hand, giving you the right
Did you talk to
direction to
the
help
hand?
people. Talk to the hand.
Thank
you. I'm taking it back.
Talk to the nice.
I would have been like, "Hey, dude, this wasn't cousin it. All right, this was not the thing. This was not the thing crawling my way down to this. It was a gnarly flipping hand with the warts on it. And here you're telling me to go seek more of it? I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I haven't seen anything since then, really. I mean, I did have a couple of experiences, like I said, after my husband passed. I had a very vivid dream with him, and just, where it didn't feel like the other dreams I had about him.
Yeah.
It was extremely vivid, and he looked fantastic. He looked like very healthy and happy in the dream. And I asked him what the afterlife was like. I asked him what heaven was like, and everything he said after that point, I can't remember. Like, his mouth is moving, but I can't hear the words. I don't know what he said. Yeah. And the other thing that happened was after his funeral, I went back home. I was staying at my parents' house at the time. I didn't want to come back to my place. And the room I was staying in, there was a painting on the wall. There was a little boy and a little girl, and the painting with the boy, like the wire was snapped in two, and it was on the ground. It shattered on the ground. It was glass, and I don't know why he would, if it was him, why he would do something like that, other than to like give me a sign or something that he's okay. But it was, I mean, it's this thick wire. Like, it was like a painting that's been hanging there for quite a long time. Yeah. And it was snapped in half. Like, there's no reason why that would happen. And it's just...
a lot of people have what they call departure visits. I had one myself when my dad passed. It was I know what you talk about, that vivid dream. It's like a dream unlike any other dream you've ever dreamt.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so profound that it almost haunts you the next day, and you're just trying to make sense of that dream. It almost consumes you. And a lot of times it's described as, a departure visit. Basically, what I've been told anyway, and what I've experienced is they're giving you that closure, that everything is all right, that they're all right. Because, I mean, that's the biggest question we all have, is our loved one all right on the other side? Did they make it? And that's a question I wrestled with. And so we have a really skilled psychic that comes on once a month. His name is Armand Gigi. And he comes on and he reads for dignitaries and presidents, and he's really skilled. So if you ever want to call in, he's on, or even have just a little conversation, he's very skilled. Steve will definitely speak to that. He might be able to shed a little light on that for you.
I'd like to talk to him about that, because it was funny, because when I woke up from that dream, unlike other dreams I had where I would wake up and I was sad because I wasn't with my husband. Like, it was like I'd see him in the dream, but then I wouldn't see him, or he'd be sick or something still in the dream. But this time it was different. When I woke up, I was like overjoyed. Like, I was so happy. I thought, like you said, I thought about that dream all day, all week. I was thinking about it, and I also was just feeling good after the dream. So it was a very different experience. Yeah. I mean, just growing up in New England, I mean, there's a lot of, anywhere you go in the country, New England has this like rich history of old supernatural stuff and legends and folklore and all of this kind of crazy stuff. I mean, the witches are it's pretty well known. There was a vampire scare here in the 19th century where they dug up graves and dispatched supposed vampires. Mercy Brown is the most famous example. There was a guy who did crazy experiments at Hammond Castle up in Gloucester. Sea monster sightings in Gloucester. We had werewolf legends up in Maine of the Acadian loup-garou from the Canadians who came down, French Canadians who came down and brought legends of werewolves, ghosts all over the place.
We could do a whole show just on the legends of your area that you know.
Bridgewater Triangle, there's endless.
Oh, yeah. I've been to the Bridgewater Triangle, and that's a creepy joint.
It really is. Did you go all the way in?
I did. I know the guy that wrote the book about the Bridgewater Triangle. His name's Chris Belzano.
I know Chris.
And I went there, and it is creepy. It's a very foreboding place.
Did you experience anything?
You know what? Thank God I didn't, because I did not want to run into a puck wedgie. That was the biggest thing that people were warning me against when I went there, was don't run into puck wedgies.
My friend knows a guy who saw a puck wedgie. There's, I guess, for people who don't know, a puck wedgie is like a Native American goblin, basically.
Yeah.
Goblin. Yeah, it's like, and they're bad. They're like these mean little goblins.
Yeah, they're not cool. They're not cool at all. No. I hear that they'll lure you into the woods, and that'll be about it.
Yeah. A friend of mine just knows somebody who saw. He claims he saw one of those.
Man, I would still be running. I would
be. The Lizzie Borden house, which my good friend Leanne Wilbur, who owns the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast, where Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, Fall River or Freetown, it used to be called. But
Yep. Fall River, Mass. And she restored the entire place so it looks just like the Lizzie Borden house. We shot an episode. We've shot a lot of episodes in different places like this, but she shot an episode. I mean, she redid the house so that she has the furniture looks the same and everything. It's a cool place. The third floor, though, where the murders didn't happen, the murders happened on the second floor.
Yeah.
Third floor, weird vibe up there.
Really?
When I was up, it was just like, ooh, this feels weird up here. Just kind of a weird vibe. You can go and spend the night at the.
Well, do you think Lizzie did it, or do you think she's innocent?
I think she did it.
Yeah.
She totally did it.
Hacked him right up.
I'm sure she did. There's plenty of theories going around, but everything points to her. It just seems she's the most likely suspect. If Sherlock Holmes were investigating the case, I think he would pin it on Lizzie Borden. What do you guys think?
I think she hacked him up. I do. I'm right with you. I think she bumped him off.
They talked about how she had a sister, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were talking about this back and forth, and it was sort of like an agreed thing. Which, I mean, they got kind of weird and spinstery after all that. Which, I mean, how do you go on dates after that?
What do you do? It'd be hard to get a date. Hey, by the way, I hacked up my family.
That's it.
And I'm hoping we're going to progress in this relationship because I have a new axe, and you're a pretty hard sleeper. I'm thinking.
Like, well, how did you guys divide the money? We cut it in quarters.
We did this video when we shot at the Lizzie house. The premise of the episode was actually that Lizzie Borden goes on a date with Jack the Ripper.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
And we did like a 50s love ballad where they sing a song. It's on YouTube. It's called Jack and Lizzie.
I'm so gonna be watching that.
Yeah, and he asks, "Are your parents home?" And she says, "No, not really."
Parts of them.
Yeah.
Parts of them. Yeah. The father was not a nice man, and the stepmother, she had an adversarial relationship with the stepmother, and there was supposedly some abuse happening there. There was
it was dark.
It was a bad time right there. You're gonna have a bad time. You could cut the tension with the axe. Yeah.
Oh, you're such a cut up.
And that's another thing I want to
axe to stop the puns.
Cut it out, guys.
Yes. Well, I was going to ask you, who does your writing for your show?
The writing for the show is usually it's me. I'd say 95% of the scripts were written by me.
Really? That's
Ivan.
That's cool.
Yeah, I write most of it. Ivan writes some of them. Dr. Von Bulow, he's written a few of episodes. Rebecca, the director, has written a couple of episodes as well. But then it's a collaborative process. That we'll kind of, I'll write a script, I'll send it to them, and then they'll kick in some ideas too that will work into the script. And then we take the script, and a lot of times we'll ad lib off of the script too. We go off script sometimes. We try to stick to the script, but sometimes, especially Ivan, will ad lib something, and then they'll kind of go off on a little side tangent. And if it's funny, when Rebecca edits all the episodes, she'll keep it in the show if it's a bit that works or something.
Well, let me ask you this. So, do you ever have Luna do it, or is it like, okay, you have 3 full pages of someone throwing poo? We're going to have to really scale the poo throwing back.
Yeah. What throw do we scale back?
We have a poo consultant on staff.
Poo consultant. That's nice. That's the top end. That's the top end.
What a crappy job. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it's a crap job. Oh my. Wow.
How's the pay? Well, pretty crappy. But yeah, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Hey, Steve, I got a great idea. We could be Penny Dreadful's otherworldly DJs.
I'm with it.
I'm
telling you, I was telling Joe, I'm hopefully going to be going to, let me reword this. I'm hopefully going to prison. I'm hoping to get to retour the prison that I'd worked for 10 years at, because they're wanting to talk to me about my book and try to help promote it. And I was like, you know what? If we can actually get some merch from her, I'm going to straight up wear me some Penny Dreadful stuff inside of there.
Oh, we got to join the fan club. We got to join the fan club, man. We got to get the kazoos.
That can be arranged. Drop me a line. We'll figure something out.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how did you come up with that hook of the kazoos? I mean, just kind of
it's just like a stupid.
It's
thing.
unique.
Like, there was nothing. There was absolutely no thought process at all behind that. It was just like, let's make Kazoo in the fan club because why not?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. Being a punk rocker myself, because that's what I was off into, like more like hardcore, like West Coast punk and stuff like that, Dead Kennedys and all that. Did you guys ever do like I don't know, like Police Truck on kazoo or something like in your punk band, like a kazoo?
We never did that in the punk band, but we did do a Portuguese version of "I Want to Be Your Dog" by Iggy Pop.
Oh, that's hot.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows. Everybody knows that the kazoo is the gateway instrument to the devil rock.
It's the most sensual of all the wax paper instruments.
It's a very underrated wax paper instrument.
It really is. It really is.
It really is.
It's
under. You can play anything on it.
Penny, I mean Danielle, rather. I'm kind of going back and forth the personas. It was
half the people I know.
Exactly. It was such an ingenious hook, though. Everything that I'm on your website over here, and everyone should go over there, of course. And that is
really cool looking website.
Yeah, ShillingShockers.com, and check it out. Very well put together. I really like the presence. Very cool. Everyone should go over there, of course. Check it out. Join the fan club. Give it some love, and you too can have a kazoo.
That's right. Nothing says lovin' like joining the coven.
That's right. That's right. And then you also can get the DVDs. You can purchase the DVDs.
That's right. We got all our DVDs available on. You can get them through our website. We got seasons 1 through 9 up there. Season 1, I will warn you in advance, is a little rough. That was like our early stuff, but it's still there for anybody who wants to see it. Some good movies there, like M with Peter Lorre. And we got T-shirts. We got a fan club. We got all kinds of pictures. Comic book. We got a comic book. Small imprint comic book divas approached me a few years ago to do a comic book. We had some great artists like Frankie Washington, and we did it sort of in like the EC horror comic style with a wraparound with Penny introducing the stories, and we got a couple of spooky tales in there. One of them is about how Penny met Guru. So
I have a great idea. It just come to me.
What's your idea?
All right, Joe, you said you play a little bit. I play guitar and drums and bass and all that.
Yeah.
We'll get this together. We'll have an all kazoo fronted punk band, and we'll call it Group X.
Oh God!
Ooh. Let's do it.
Well, Danielle,
it's going to happen.
No, it is going to happen. We have to have it.
Be a winner.
That's right. That's right. I'll grab the old Stratocaster, and we'll get her done. We'll get her done.
We got to do it.
Now we have to. Now we're committed.
Central location.
That's right.
You guys are in Kentucky?
I'm in Kentucky. I'm actually all the way up in northern Minnesota.
Oh, you're in Minnesota.
Yeah, the beautiful Duluth area. Yes, come for the lake, but leave because of accents. That's right.
I'm the only one that's got the band skills down here. So
yeah. See now that you when it's winter time here in New England, I'll just think of Minnesota, and it'll make me feel better.
That's right.
About the temperature.
40 below, baby. 40 below. And you cannot get away with wearing the Penny Dreadful garb when it's 40 below.
Oh, definitely not. It's colder than a witch's. Oh, well, anyway, so it's it gets pretty cold here, but not like that. That's pretty.
Now, Danielle,
but it does get.
Has this thing outgrown your wildest expectations? I mean, it seems to have taken on a life of its own.
Sometimes I look at what we've accomplished so far, and it's like there was one point where I was like, oh, we gotta get on a bigger platform. We gotta get I love Rich Carlos Svengoolie. He's great, and he's on the MeTV, and I'm like, oh, we could probably get on one of those retro channels. But I'm pretty happy with what we accomplished and what we did. We won Rondo Awards. We got I was always a horror fan as a kid. Like, I loved the old horror movies and the TV show Dark Shadows and Universal Monsters. Never once did I think that we'd get on a cover of a monster magazine. That was exciting. An old school monster magazine on Scary Monsters. We were on the cover of that magazine. And we've met so many really nice people that come up to me, and it just means a lot to me when people come up to me and say, I used to watch such and such, like any of these types of shows as a kid, and when I saw your show, it took me back to my childhood, and now I watch it with my kids on Saturday nights. We pop some popcorn and we get together and we watch your show, and it's really cool because not only are they getting a nostalgic vibe from it, but they're passing it along to their kids too. And I think that's like, I don't know, that means something to me that it connects with people in that way. It's not for everybody. Some people don't dig this kind of thing. They don't want a host wraparound segment. They just want the straight up movie, or they don't dig horror. But people that do like this stuff, it means a lot to them, and that means a lot to me that they dig it. You know.
Well, exactly. You know, and I know Cassandra Peterson, that she is Elvira. And we were talking when I was talking to her. I said, "Well, what's the key?" And she just kind of laughed, and she said, "Well, I won't lie to you. It's 50% sex appeal, 25% a bad laugh, and 25% bad acting." And she was totally serious, and I laughed. And she says, "No." She says, "It's really, it's just each and every horror host brings their own flavor to what they're doing." And that's what makes it special. And that's what makes it wonderful. And the same for you. I mean, you're wonderful at what you do. I mean, having you the first half hour in full Penny Dreadful style, it was just amazing. It really was. It was really a pleasure and an honor. And quite honestly, you are so darn good at it. You make it look effortless.
Well, that's very kind of you to say that. You know, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you are very welcome, and the check is in the mail, I'm sure now.
Yes, you will be paid handsomely for your flattery.
No, but I mean, do you see any up and coming horror hosts, or is this kind of I don't want to say a dying breed, but is it starting to go away? And I mean, is there a generation behind you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going anywhere. There are. I mean, this is just, there's something about this that appeals to people, and I think you're going to see more horror hosts come in. There's going to be a resurgence, and they're out there. Like my friend John Carroll, who plays the Danvers. He has a show out of Texas, out of Austin, and it's Danvers Demented Features. He just started his show not that long ago, maybe like a year and a half or 2 years ago, and he's been doing great with it. And there's these guys I met when they were teenagers. I met them when I did an appearance out in Pittsburgh for a film festival out there, and these guys, like, they started sending me messages after I got back, and they said, "You inspired us. We want to do a show too." So they started putting together. They were sending me videos of them building their set and all of this. Like, it was really cool. I don't think they ever got it off the ground, but they started to. So if you see these kids at cons, like my friend Fiona Fright, she's just made a horror movie. She's 11 years old. She just made her first horror movie. I think they're in the finishing stages of it, but I could see her doing something like this. Like, she loves spooky stuff.
Sure.
As long as there are kids that
will get off the Xbox and get out and do it. That's dedication.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just if you, a certain mindset likes that. If you like spooky stuff and you like making people laugh and you like having fun, give it a shot. And
absolutely, you just don't know, until you do it.
You don't
know. People ask me, "How do you get in radio?" And I said, "Don't."
While you can. Are you with us?
Don't do it. If you love sanity, you won't do it. No, but can you, Penny? You got to tell us. You got to tell everyone that's listening how they can get a hold of you, how they can get a hold of all your stuff, your merchandise, all that kind of good stuff, and more importantly, where they can see your films.
Absolutely. Well, we have our Halloween special, which is coming this weekend. It's going to be coming out in a couple of days. And like I've said, we're showing The Last Man on Earth, and that's going to be available exclusively on Vimeo for a 99-cent download. I'm going to post all about that on social media and put links out there. I do have a Facebook page where you can keep up with what I'm doing. I have a personal Facebook page, which is just Penny Dreadful. page, and then I have a Penny Dreadful Shilling Shockers fan page, so you can friend me at I go like the fan page, and I post stuff there all the time. And then we, of course, have our website, shillingshockers.com, and there are links to our merchandise there, our store. There's some video clips on there, a list of TV stations that run the show, although I have to say it probably has not been updated in a while, and episode synopses. You can find out all the movies that we showed, and if you want to get a season of episodes, you break down each season and what's in each season. Around season 8, we started doing like ongoing storylines.
Sure.
When we started, it was like a more traditional horror host thing where it was like, each episode was its own thing, and but later on we started doing like, let's live up to the name of the show. It's Shilling Shockers. The original Shilling Shockers in the 19th century were like serialized stories that would be an ongoing horror story.
So cool. So cool. It really is. Well, we got to run. I hate to cut you off because I could go on forever. But on behalf of myself, Joel Sturgis, of course, and Mr. Steve Asher, thank you for listening to this shit After Hours AM. Take care of each other, love each other, and stay spooky. Thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM, and please remember to like us on Facebook and also follow us over on Twitter.